Welcome back. Uh, Now I'm being joined by Aruna Kebira, the Oga at the top from Global View Capital Limited. Aruna, you are welcome.
Good afternoon.
All right. So far, so good from what I can see. If the data here, there are anything to really go by, virtually all the major indicators are currently looking up. For example, NSE All Share Index is currently up 0.32%, NSE 30 up 0.46%, NSE 50 up 0.37%, NSE Ascent flat, but that flat is not negative. NSE Banking, wow, was positive before, but it's currently down marginally. Anything can still happen for this to be wiped off. Marginally down 0.01%. Between the time I went on short break now and now, it has just suddenly lost that 0.01%. NSE Corporate Governance up 0.62%. NSE Consumer Goods up 1.13%. NSE Industrial up 0.10%. NSE Insurance was down before, now is back up 0.35%. NSE Lotteries is still down, though marginally, rather 0.06%. NSE Minboard up 0.48%. NSE Oil and Gas flat. NSE Pension up 0.37%. NSE Premium 0.12%. All right, we can only say only two subsectors are currently looking at NSE Banking, which could be reversed anytime soon, and NSE Lotus. All right. So, Aruna, what is your general view of what is happening on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, particularly if we look at that vis-a-vis those equities that are currently gaining? You know that before, even as at the time we got to the studio, we were still looking at it. Only few, I think, two equities, Fidelity and which other one? FCMB, that were down. All right. But now, as we speak, we expect you guys profit taking. Quite a number of equities are on the losers chart. But basically, the market is looking green. So, what's your general perception of the market as we speak?
But with the performance of the market as far as today is concerned, is not a surprise to me. I'm expecting it. We have 10 effective trading days before the election, 5 trading days this week and 5 trading days next week. And people are justly to take position in value stocks ahead of the election. So because the moment that election is gone, I think we will see a better market, a good market. And we always said that in any good market, every stock is good.
Every stock is
good, yes.
It's good, including Japan.
Japan is trading about 21 kobo. Now you will discover that when the market is moving generally, Japan can get to like 30 kobo.
Wow.
In the short run, and every stock is good in a good market.
But I will not be recommending Japan.
No, I'm not recommending it. I'm only saying, I'm talking generally, especially when the market is coming from a long depressed period.
Right. Aruna, we'll come back to what I really want us to look at, basically, the strategy that we should be deploying as we speak now, that it is a good time. Because, you know, there's one thing I found out about even my mother while she was in the village, and the farmer, and all those elderly men and women in our village. Aruna, they knew the best time to plant either cassava or maize or yam and all those things. And in our village, I could recall that there is a specific date where harvest of yam is declared. In fact, a ceremony. But oftentimes, it's like investors in the market don't actually know the best time to invest, right?
Because they are also not information savvy. They don't follow, they don't go after information.
Right. Now, let's look first so that we can come back to create the time enough to look at what is happening on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange currently, and equities that we should be positioning in against the bull that we are expecting at the market arena. Let's look at market indicators for last week. I know that the first 3 days of last week, or will it be 4 days of last week, there was what I could call massive profit taking. And then first trading day in February was actually bullish. But when we look at the entire month performance, just last week alone, the market was down 2.51% because of the first few days to end the month of January. Why wouldn't you people just allow the market to stay and then close in the green for January and then enter February also in the green?
You know, that is exactly what we were expecting until this political drama came up. And don't also forget the fact that a number of people normally, they will discount the information immediately to the stock and they begin to exit their position. And it was that same pressure that actually brought the market down. I was thinking in the first day, like on a Monday, that it was profit taking. But when it was lingering, I do understand that it's not only profit taking, but also have an element of that political drama attached to it.
All right. So now, as you can see, the All-Share Index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange for last week was down 2.51%. No big issue. Market capitalization also down 2.52%. No big issue. Volume of trades down 19.65%, and that could mean a lot, but we might not have the time enough to explain all those details. Now, deals was actually up 5.38% for last week, whereas value, talking about the total amount that was invested to buy different equities that are listed on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange last week, was also down 14.18%. Now, with Aruna, we look at some of those equities that actually performed well last week. Aruna, I saw ABC moving 24.14%. What was it?
ABC is priced at be allowed to fall below 50 kobo.
Yes.
The kobo increase is automatically 5%.
But this one was even more than 4 kobo, from 29 kobo to 36 kobo. We're talking about 7 kobo. It's fantastic.
It could just be market momentum.
But what I see is that such equities don't sustain this kind of upsurge. That one day you just wake up one morning and just see this kind of upsurge. But for the fact that it grew 24.14%, it means that it actually moved a number of days for that last week. Right? If there are other information that we think you should know as far as ABC Transport is concerned, we will not hesitate to get across to you, particularly for those who would be visiting our website. Our website is www.stocksng.com. StocksNG, STOCKSNG, as in Nigeria, together, STOCKNG together, then .com. What about Better Glass? Better Glass, somebody was expressing some concerns the other time, and last year, one of the best equity. But now, in the last 4 weeks, I can say Better Glass has appeared prominently on highest percentage gains chart twice.
The only problem with Better Glass is liquidity. There's no enough float. So the moment it gained 5%, to be able for anybody to drag it down for another 5%, it will be very difficult. But there may not be a board lot to do that, so it can stay on a particular level for a very long time because of the float.
All right. And then, but is the company a good company at all?
It is. Their financials are good.
Very, very good.
Yes, that's why the price still at about 16 naira.
And it's impressive, 16 naira.
Their financials are always good.
Shouldn't there be a law from the regulators making float available such that when you see these things, and then it becomes tradable?
I think there is an extant rule concerning that, but the question is that if somebody from the market mop out of that keep, it's still part of the float. Because as far as it's not either to the nominee account or it's not to one of the directors, it's still part of the float of the market.
Sterling Bank has fantastic third quarter report. I would have even expected the price to go higher than this, but last week 8.41%, not bad.
But well, you know that all the results are being held down by the market all through this period.
Yes.
So I think that's exactly what's also happening to Sterling.
And which suggests that third quarter report probably should be one of the basic considerations for equity selection, even now that we're expecting the market to become better after the elections?
If you extrapolate by third quarter, you cannot miss it. Because by the time a company has released first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, you can infer what might likely happen in quarter four, and you barely cannot miss it.
All right. For last week, USN properties actually grew 8.18%. Is their fortune becoming better now?
USC property.
USN property.
I think it has to do with the earnings versus the price at which they are trading.
Okay. Then Vitafoam, when is the cutoff date for the dividend and the bonus declared?
It's February 15.
February 15
Today is
should
already,
be next week, Friday.
11 days from now.
All right, which suggests that anyone who still goes to buy Vitafoam as we speak will still partake
Yes,
of
and the dividend of 25 kobo and 145. That is roughly about 121 kobo at a price of 480.
It's even for 79, except if the equity has grown this morning. Now, will you be saying that Vitafoam is attractive at 479 on the strength of the dividend is no longer expected? It's already declared.
Yes.
The bonus is not also expected. It's already declared. So on the strength of the known now, will you say, and the equity really has grown a little bit, will you say it is still attractive?
You know why I would say that it is? Because on the day of the release of that result, Vitafoam was actually doing 4 naira.
Right.
But though 4 naira was his 52-week high, then because of the result, it went to 440. The highest it has gone to now is 4 naira 99 kobo, and it's already is 479. So which means for the sake of argument, say have like 20 kobo to plug. But I know that Vitafoam may close more than 4 naira 99 kobo before the markdown day.
All right. As at today, as I can see now, the price is still 4 naira 79 kobo. I can see so far so good today about just 47,000 units has been traded. Is it that sellers are not selling or potential buyers are not buying? Why the small volume?
No, they are queuing, but the question is that I want to participate in Vitafoam, but I want to get it less than 479. But this man said, no, me, I want to sell my own at 480. I think that is exactly what is happening.
Okay, and we now go back to those equities that are currently making waves on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, even as we are here now. Let's look at the index. Index is still largely improving. Most of them are still in the green. So for those that are gainers now, Resta Express.
Resta Express, I think
they brought a result recently.
I think it's
so,
part of.
And I think that is majorly the factor behind the rise in the price of Resta. You know,
I think we talked about it on this platform, and I said there's every possibility that they can get to 650 kobo.
Right. So, and the current price on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is still 5 naira 50 kobo, which means
it was 5 naira on the day we analyzed.
All right. So,
it was having I think 30% earnings yield.
All right. We even talked about this result last week on this platform. Let me see if I can still access where the result is on Resta. I recall that we mentioned it before we rounded off on the platform last week. So Resta, the reason as to why the price is moving is the 21.85% in the turnover of the company for the third quarter 2018. The profit after tax grew by 24.71%. The earning per share was 62 kobo from 49 kobo. And then the price, which I also did as at that last week, as at 2018, was 5 naira 79 kobo. Whereas the price as at that last week, Monday, was just 5 naira, as you said. And so we saw increase in earnings and then decline in price, which makes the stock very attractive to buy. All right, so let's move ahead to see some of those equities that are still making waves on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Union Diagnostics.
We have
anytime we mention it, we both smile.
Because we know exactly how the water went through or that the bridge. But the question is that, like I said, they have cleaned their books, and the market is believing that any time they release their quarter four, it might be fantastic. And when somebody, a company that have not paid dividend for how long, even if they declare 2 kobo dividend for a price of 13 kobo, I think the market will appreciate it.
Okay, let's leave Union Diagnostics alone. I can still say Nigerian breweries are making. How far do you think Nigerian breweries can go?
Nigerian breweries is a stock that trades over 100 naira before, and it was the market that actually brought it to where it is. I think, like we have said, the number of stocks will be going back to their prices.
NEM Insurance is back at 2 naira 45 kobo. How far do you think NEM will rise before the market pulled it down?
It rose to 2 naira 72 kobo.
So
before it came back. So but that's not the highest. The 52-week high is about 3 naira 50 kobo. But after the VFID issues, it came back to 2 naira 72 kobo, and profit taking brought it to 2 naira 30 kobo, 38 kobo. I think it's going back to 2 naira 70 kobo, 2 naira 75 kobo.
Let's look at some of those equities that I can see on the losers chart that ought not to be there as far as I'm concerned. But unfortunately, I don't determine the positioning of these equities. World Bank losing 4.48%, even at a price of 64.
It is price profit taking. Remember that the number of people, I saw a very large volume be traded at 53 kobo, and this same stock went to 70 kobo. I told a number of people that would be enough profit to take. I think it's the profit taking that is bringing women back down.
All right, and we just talked about Sterling. Sterling, so far so good today, is losing 2.45%. Do you see possibility of it reversing back?
Of course.
Today or later in the week?
Even if it does not reverse today, if I even leave the market close in the red today, it's going to do 4/5. We may see green for 4 days. Because I normally say that it's like over the weekend is a place of sitting down and considering your past experiences, whether mistakes, your strength and weakness. And on Monday, we begin to look at our eyeball to eyeball. I begin to see what you are going to do. But by Tuesday, I have seen what yesterday is. I just plug in straight.
FCMB.
FCMB Fidelity, you have discovered that they have gotten, like FCMB have traded over 2 naira, it will get as far as 2 naira 15 kobo. People who have taken position in FCMB and why it may think it's a good time to take their profit. A number of people don't really believe that the market is about to turn for good. So they are looking at temporary profit taking. If not, that FCMB we are seeing is getting, maybe getting over 3 naira.
Wow. United Capital. This company used to be very attractive.
It's still UCAP and AfriPrud. It's still the only thing that they have season. Most people, especially at the price at which it is, we want to see their result first and what they have declared.
All right. I'm not expecting to see Zenith on the losers chart. Are you expecting it to reverse to close today or later in the week?
I think Zenith will be closing back at 23. And if you close at 20, then it will be just traded flat.
All right. We have roughly 15 minutes to round off on the platform today. Haruna Kebera, the man from Global View Capital, is still very much with us. Now, this segment is coming to you without prejudice. It is just a sincere expression of perception, sincere expression of opinion. All right. Oftentimes it will work, but again, there is nobody that can accurately time the market at any point in time. One of the very first articles I ever wrote on the stock market is that don't try to time the market, time yourself. So what we're going to be saying now, as far as equities that we feel you should be considering, is just our sincere opinion. It is done without any form of biasness, and it is just a sincere opinion. All right, Aruna, let us take off. Number one, will you be considering industry or the general market, whereby you pick from the basket to take strategic position against the market that we expect to become first stable and then begin to rise immediately after the completion of the elections 2019?
Maybe because I sit at the front of the machine, I look at stock by stock. I don't actually go by segment. I look at stock by stock because I would have done an history of that stock. I have my mind would have been telling me that when this market begin to go up, this stock will rise with the market.
So you are suggesting that we look at specific equities,
yes,
and not necessarily industry. All right. Now, this is the next question I would put to you. In the market, there is what I call categorization of stocks, categorization or classification. Please get a copy of Stocks Weekly newspaper today. You will get to see what I meant by categorization or classification of equities. And as a matter of fact, I did mention in that article specific equities in the categorization. Will you be considering categorization? What do I mean categorization? There are equities that could be called penny stocks, all right? And then there are those that are mid-cap, high-cap stock, all right? In positioning, where do you think the concentration should be? Do I focus my attentions on these penny stocks, knowing fully well that at the beginning of a rising market and even in the middle of it, equities that are low in prices stand to gain more? Why? It is easier for a stock selling at 2 naira to move to 4 naira, thereby gaining 100%, than a stock that is selling at 1,000 naira to get to 2,000 naira, then gaining 100%. So in the categorization, will you be following that, or will you still be picking from the basket?
Let me first of all explain this. The high-cap stocks, I call them portfolio stabilizers.
Right.
They only help you to stabilize your portfolio in a down market. If you look at Mobil, if you look at Total, if you look at Nestle, the fall in price was not that significant. So that you only have them to balance your portfolio. Apart from that, if I have to go into the market to go and position my portfolio against the rise of the market now, I should consider more on the low cap and the mid cap.
All right. So in the positioning, for fresh investment sake, we should be looking at penny stocks, right? Low cap
and mid cap.
And mid cap, right? Having said that, aside from their categorization, what other factors do I need to consider in my selection?
One of the things you also put at the back of your mind is the fundamentals. For the fact that the stock is low does not mean that it may necessarily move when the market is also moving. We have a number of 20 kobo stock that will be there as long as the company is listed. So you also look at fundamentals that are attached to those stocks.
All right. These fundamentals starts from where and ends where?
One, you look at past history.
All right.
Dividend payout.
All right.
If they are into manufacturing, what do they manufacture? It's just like we're talking about increase in minimum wage.
All right.
What just came to my mind is that as far as your salary has been increased from 80,000 to 30,000, the first thing to come is consumption. So people that could not drink Nescafe, that cannot drink,
or that cannot afford to buy Bonvita for their children before.
They go and buy Bonvita. Like I normally tell people, as me and you are sitting down here, we have taken something from Nestle this morning.
I have not.
I've taken I've taken coffee.
All right. In that article on the minimum wage, I actually brought it to the banks. All right, you need to get that article. It's the kind of work that I should organize a workshop and lecture. All right, because this is where ATMs become very profitable, And some of those financial institutions that will become net beneficiaries will be those that have one, some of those they are consumer products among them, like when Access says payday loan. So you could see that somebody that was expecting 18,000 naira before now begins to expect 30,000. So the fellow can afford to go and borrow probably 25,000 naira, knowing fully well that after the end of the month, he can pay back the 25,000 naira, he will still have 5,000 naira, and after that 5,000 naira, after the payment, he can immediately go to borrow again. For those of them in the financial market that are very sound and well established and they have marketed it, please look for such. They will make a lot of money. And you know, ATMs will become relatively usable, right? And these are the things people don't understand. By the time you use ATM that is not your bank, after the third transaction, you will be paid 65 naira.
But it may look small.
Look small, but it's a big money. It's plenty for those financial institutions. We'll come to talk about all those. All right, Aruna. Because of our time, we will have to probably continue next week also. Let's come to specific equities now. What are your takes?
Well, I'm still not far away from the Transcorp.
We don't mention when you say Transcorp. Before we go to the next one, you must tell us why Transcorp.
It's because of their result. You see, I wanted to even say that part of the fundamental is the result. You sit down and look at quarter one, you look at quarter two, you look at quarter three, and see the growth.
And compare with the previous
consistent?
years.
And one of the things you look at is not just the bottom line, worry about the top line, because as long as the top line is shrinking, it means that they are losing their market share. But if my top line is growing, it means that I'm still gaining more grant every day. Then I'll be able to manage my costs, and my bottom line will be robust. And you mark the bottom line based on what the stock is trading. That is what will give you any seed.
Right. So you are in for Transcorp. So far, so good today. From what I can see right here, Transcorp today has grown by 2.40% on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The price has ranged between 1 naira 26 kobo and 1 naira 29 kobo, which suggests that some people have bought and sold at 126 today. Some people have bought and sold at 1 naira 29 kobo. As we speak now, at this minute, it is selling at 1 naira 28 kobo. So you believe in Transcorp, but what price range are you looking at such that if I see it above, I should not just bother to enter anymore?
When Transcorp was 105, people did buy. Now Transcorp is trading between 126 and 129. I'm telling you that after the election, you can't get Transcorp less than that. So if you want to be part of the rally, you have to take Transcorp at the price at which it's trading.
Okay, which means I should look at a price
between
below 1 naira 30 kobo.
126, below 130, yes.
Okay, if I bought at 1 naira 30 kobo, Aruna, what should be my expectation?
If Transcorp is doing 2 naira, that means we have made 70 kobo, which is almost 50%.
And if it doesn't meet 2 naira, what do I do? Because I do tell people the market has created a basket for us to pick from, but there are different ways through which you make your returns or profit in equity investment. One is the price appreciation, the second is dividend, the third is bonus. In some cases, you could get it in all of them, like what we have seen in Vitafoam. But if you cannot get any value in price appreciation, you should look at dividend payout. Let us assume for the sake of argument, anything is possible in the market. I'm not able to achieve 2 naira price margin in Transcorp. What are you expecting?
Do you know
as
that
dividend payout?
Transcorp paid 2 kobo previously, and as we speak, they have already done over 5 kobo, which means that by the time they come with anything bigger than like 7 kobo, they can do 5 kobo dividend. And if Transcorp do 5 kobo dividend on the price of 1 naira 30 kobo, I don't see why we not go to 2 naira.
All right, let's leave Transcorp alone. Our time is fast spent. We should be rounding off in a couple of minutes. What other take?
Fidelity.
Fidelity. Now, this one is not is a financial market stock. All right, why Fidelity?
Because of the quarter 3 result, and as at the price that it was, by how much has it gained? Though I saw it at 2 naira 40 kobo before I come to the studio, I still believe we have potentials of going over that.
All right, I'm just trying to call the current situation of Fidelity on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So what I can see, so far so good today, it has traded between 2 naira 34 kobo and 2 naira 40 kobo, and I can see it currently down 2.2008%. All right, that is what Fidelity is doing. So I should key into this minor small decline to invest in it.
Yeah, the more it goes down today, the better position that you get.
All right, at a price of 2 naira 35 kobo, what do you think will happen subsequently to the price of Fidelity Bank? What range at the upper level are you looking at?
52-week high of Fidelity has been 4 naira 33 kobo.
And you're expecting it to go near 4 naira?
Even if it doesn't get to the 4 naira, Fidelity will go to 3 naira and above 3 naira.
All right, if it does not get to above 3 naira, because you see, the reason why we are doing this is very important. If you cannot get capital appreciation, you should be able to get dividend. Now, let me tell you this. The market for the better part of 2018 was down. People lost money in price. But guess what? Most of those equities that were fundamentally sound still were able to declare good dividend. Most of them that had always given interim dividend also did so in 2018. So if you miss out in price performance, make sure that the kind of equity you are going to invest in is such that can still give you something in dividend payout that will suffice. All right? Probably against the price you do not get. In Fidelity, to round off Aruna, what are your expectations as the dividend?
No, they pay good dividend.
So for me to buy now,
what do we pay more? It should be up to 15% dividend yield.
In case I get below 15%. Because you must also understand, in dividend yield, there must be a way whereby you gauge it. Number one, when you get dividend yield in a company, you got to compare it with what obtains in the money market. So if a company is giving you 15%, if a company is giving you 10%, if a company is giving you 5%, you need to ask yourself before you say that is too little or that is too small, what obtains in the money market. All right, that is one. Number two, you compare with others in the market. Our time is fast spent. I want to appreciate your coming. We'll continue by the grace of God next week. Your last word and your message to those listening to you. In 1 second, you can see the man.
Yeah, I'm always a believer in the market, and I believe this is the best opportunity to take position as far as this market is concerned. Because the moment this political risk is discounted in another 14 days, the rest will be history.
The rest will be history. The last word from Aruna Kibera, the man from Global View Capital Limited. He has spared us his time this morning. You also, with the telephone number that was earlier provided, please go and patronize Aruna. Join me tomorrow through to Friday on our different radio platforms in the city of Lagos, 103.5 FM, 9 to 9:15 in the morning, in Ibadan Premier FM, in Abeokuta Paramount FM, and like that. But on this platform, I'm going to be returning by the grace of God next week, Monday, when we will be doing a special edition, which we call